Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and today we're going to be discussing a rather essential mod, to be honest. You see, garrisons for Total War Warhammer 3 aren't very good, and this has been very noticeable as you're trying to play more and more campaigns. Certain garrisons for certain races like, Nurgle, Norska, hell even sometimes the Empire just feel a bit too weak. You can see this here, it's a very basic garrison, it's nothing too special, but this is what you normally build, and yeah, you want to start expanding, but the problem is that given the AI right now, yeah, you're going to be dealing with a lot of enemies. A lot of them are going to be declaring war on you, and you want to have at least some decent defenses, especially now since the system for settlement battles has changed, where early on now you're forced into land battles and you've got loads of enemies around, and the AI is very aggressive now, and this is the perfect example. This is turn 17, I'm playing as Karl Franz, and look how many factions have already declared war on me. These aren't generally the enemies I want to deal with. I want to start moving into Marienburg, I want to start uniting the Empire, getting rid of the vampire counts. But now already Bretonnian factions are declaring war on me, and when I further tested this, more Bretonnian factions were declaring war on me. I don't want to deal with Bretonnia. That's a faction that we're generally on good terms with, so why do I have to fight them? And obviously now I want to focus elsewhere, but I want to leave a little bit of a defense behind. I can't really have many armies, so this is where this mod comes into effect. Zorbaz's Greater Garrisons, a garrison overhaul mod, which I'm thinking is probably never going to leave my load order unless Creative Assembly fix the garrison issue, where now you'll start to see loads of different buildings. These are the basic military ones, offering a extra unit, sometimes two depending on what faction you're playing. So you've got bigger garrisons naturally, but it starts to get even better as you start expanding into the other buildings. So not all the buildings will offer better garrisons, but the grand majority of them will offer new units for new garrisons. So this means that you can get stuff from your infrastructure buildings, from your landmarks, from your ports, from your advanced military, and your defensive buildings, and your basic actual garrison stuff is just literally a bit better as you start expanding through it. And I feel like this is just making the game a little bit better. So with the mod turned on, you can already start to see some changes around, and this is really, really good. This means that you have nice 20 stacks, but with some better units. You can see Elihart is just pretty decent. Ubersreich is obviously pretty good anyway because it's Ubersreich. Grunberg is at the most basic form, but it's already getting some better units. We've got a unit of handgunners there. It just adds into having a bit more defensive line, so you don't always have to focus on the garrison building, at least early on those cities that you just want to focus economically. You'll still have a few better units, and I think that really does help. Let's not focus on the ones that are generally okay when it comes to garrisons. Well, they could be better, hence the mod, but let's focus on stuff like Norska, for example. Norska have no walls. You can't build walls in Norska. It's your culture thing, and it's a bit of a annoying thing because it makes you more susceptible to attacks, especially since the AI will generally try to focus you because of anti-player bias. So being able to get a bunch of units through all these different buildings will make your garrisons a lot better, and hell, you kind of need that because you're running less armies since they got nerfed with the economy recently. Now you at least have a little bit more defensive force, so you can focus your attentions on going out there and doing more damage. I feel like that's kind of important for Norska. And there's nothing more annoying than when you're starting to go into Bretonnia or the Empire to lay waste to them, and then Sigvald or Malus or anyone else up north decides, yeah, you're the problem now for some reason, despite the fact that you're actually, supposed to be in good terms. Well, not with Malus, but you know what I mean. So you can already start to see some changes. I mean, it's not a lot because it's only turn 10, but just getting a few extra units here and there is great, and it just makes it feel like you're a little bit more defendable. I mean, it's not going to help that much early on, but later on it will. The fact of the matter is this is something that is kind of needed. I believe all the Total Wars kind of did this, right? It's one of those things that I'm not too sure if we lost or not. So every race and faction, and also the AI, does benefit from this, so some settlements that you do attack are going to be a bit harder. However, the race and faction that benefits this for the most part, I'd say more than anyone else, is Kurgath and Nurgle. Let's be honest, Kurgath, his garrisons suck. The faction does need a bit more help than most, but this actually makes it a lot more fun as you're able to kind of move out there. You know, this is a faction that in vanilla you can get no walls, right? You don't really get good minor settlements. Well, you get nothing, essentially. This is a faction that really suffers defensively, which is weird considering that this is Nurgle. But, you know, you get a bunch of new units here with your defensive area, and I think this is pretty cool because what it does is it makes use of the cycle. So early on the cycle, say for example if you have the Plague Bearer building, it'll give you Plague Bearers, but if it gets to the cycles of Exalted Plague Bearers, it will switch that out for Exalted Plague Bearers, and I think that's freaking awesome, and it adds in a lot of flavor because it still stays with the core mechanic of Nurgle without switching anything out. Maybe this is something that should be done vanilla style, because I think this is pretty cool, rather than getting a basic garrison building. Although, you know, a garrison building that has a few different benefits would in general be kind of nice. So already you can notice some big changes for the Nurgle garrisons, and it just makes life a lot easier. I think my next campaign is actually going to be with Kurgath with this mod, as it just feels like I'm going to be able to defend a bit more. And look, let's be honest, right? Early on with Kurgath, you're fighting against the Skaven faction, you're fighting against Ogres, you're fighting against Helman Gorst, then Imrik decides to show up, Cafe decides to declare war on you. You're very much surrounded on all sides. This is why AI-wise, his faction doesn't actually last that long. So there's some details in the mod page which are as follows. Military and economic buildings now provide one extra garrison unit based on the building type. So depending what building you have, this is going to get you a bit of a stronger unit, sometimes a bit weaker, but it's still an extra unit anyway, more bodies, right? Villages and cities now have 2 more units in their main garrison, so already you're getting a little bit of a bonus there, and defensive buildings now have a public order bonus, so yeah, this is going to be quite good, and 2 extra elite units. So overall, you're getting a lot of benefits. Again, the AI will also make use of this, so yeah, siege battles and just in general battles that are attacking settlements, with or without a settlement battle itself, if it just goes to a land battle, yeah, they'll be longer. They'll actually be longer, but you're going to get a bigger battle. And you know, big battles are cool because this is Total War, and you just want to see the monsters do some cool shit, because, I mean, that's what I want to see. Anyways, the mod itself is just amazing. I've only been playing for a few hours, and I can notice a bit of a difference. Maybe some of you won't be able to notice a bit of a difference until you start, you know, progressing through a campaign and stuff, but it is something that I just find essential for a quality of life mod, and yeah. So, by the way, it doesn't work in multiplayer at the moment. It doesn't work, it sometimes does, this is from the modder itself, but if you're playing by yourself, you know this is great. The mod itself can be found in the description below. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below, and let's start a bit of a discussion. I know that the garrison thing has been a bit of a heated debate recently, but it's something that Creative Assembly need to address. Thankfully, we do have some mods that can fix that, but this should be something that I would hopefully see in vanilla in the future. Anyways, until then, I shall see you all again very, very soon. Have a good day.